All right, today we're going to dig into fuel lines and fuel filter on the Partner P100 saw and then see if that gets it running or if we need to tear the carburetor off and go further. So let's crack this open and see where it leads us. Okay, cover's off. Let's get that air filter off. So I've never had this apart before, so you and I are going to find out together. All right, so we're into the carburetor. Looks like the linkage is working fine. A little dusty in here, but not bad. Does not have a primer. So here, look at that. Fuel line is so old. It was just broken. Yeah, just broken. Not cool. All right, I have it started. I have it pulled through. Now I'm trying to pull the other end out so I can have enough out here to put the new filter on. It's just a fishing game to try to grab a hold of the end of it. Ah. There it is. It's out. Now let's keep it from coming out. Let's go ahead, cut that angle I put off on there off so we can get the new filter on. Right now I have way too much fuel line in the tank. I'll have to pull it back up through once I get the filter on, because you don't want too much in there either. So let's put those on there to hold it from falling back in. Husqvarna. Husqvarna on a Partner. Husqvarna parts on a saw that 70 years ago was a rival company from Partner, or for Partner. But it'll work. Here, cut in there. Get that thing open so I can get it out. Boy, they don't want you to steal these things, I can tell you that much. There it is. The new filter in all its glory. And I just did a little test. Remember the other day when I made that video with this? Here's the old filter. Yeah, disgusting, but nothing will go through it. Here's the new one. You can hear that? Flows right through it. So let's go ahead and put it on the new fuel line. Perfect fit. Now we can take these forceps off. This can go back in there. You can't have too much fuel line in your tank. So I'll feed this back through, because this is going to bobble around in the tank. When you roll your saw around, this filter will roll around in the tank and still be able to draw fuel. So I think that's about the right amount of line we want in there. So put this cap back on the fuel tank. Saw is back upright. You can see that the fuel line goes on this little nipple right here. That has the rubber on it from the old fuel line, so we need to get that off. Take the pick in here. Hopefully it doesn't give us fits, because that nipple is plastic and we certainly don't want to break it. Yeah, it's just crumbling right off. But we want it off, we don't want it in our way. Petrified. It'd be a miracle if this thing ran without cleaning that carb, but that carb, I mean, it looks like it's in good shape. You never know. So this just needs to go from here to there without being kinked. I'm going to have to do a little adjusting to it, because I'm afraid if I make it too short, it'll kink, but I don't want it to be too long. That kinks right there immediately. This amount of line, we'll let it go on there and not kink. We just have a big loop here to contend with, but we'll see if that gets in the way of the filter. I think I'll go ahead and cut it there. And that can go right over that nipple. A little lubricant. I just got to get it to slide down on that nipple. Catch on the little barbs so it stays. I don't know if I'm blocking you out of my video or not. Looks like it's going, but it's not on enough. It's on there. Now, the air filter. Looks like those, it's like these two screws here are going to go on here on the carburetor, because there's actually a filter there. We can get that fuel line out of the way. See if we can get it to thread back on. Looks like that one is. Don't want to cross thread it. Seems like that one's going on. Before I leave that, there's a line. You probably saw it. Take this off. Right here, I'm assuming this is a vent line for the tank. It's a piece of hard plastic. It comes out. You can see where it's flared right here. And possibly the nipple went right here. But for this to go on, but it's gone. All right. No need to fill it up. Use that. I think we can prime it by putting fuel directly into the carburetor here, and I'll put it on the floor and see what happens. All right, there's no primer or purge valve or bulb on this saw, so we're hoping that the fuel in the carburetor will get it fired and the diaphragm in the carburetor is not hard and crusty, and that'll keep pumping fuel and it'll stay running. And it did not. Do that again. Diesel, get back. And try to choke off this time. I don't know. I think if I do that a few times, she may fire off and stay running. Okay, after doing that enough times, it did not suck any fuel through this line into the carburetor. So you know what that means. Didn't have the camera running, but I pulled that fuel line off and it was full of fuel. So it was pumping fuel. Let me get some paper towels to clean my hands off. Nothing like getting gasoline everywhere. Yeah, I pulled this off and fuel was pouring out. You can see it in there now. So, good deal. It would be nice to be able to work on this to get it running without taking the carburetor off. Actually, it would be a miracle. But it was pumping fuel, so that's good. Looks like for linkage in this, got throttle linkage there. Choke linkage here, not much there. I might just try to pump it a few times more and see what happens. Ran more that time than the last time. Nah, she's gonna need clean. There again, I wasn't recording. I got the little clip. Looks like this. You can see that off of the choke without losing it. The one for the throttle is back a bit further. It's really hard to get a light in there to see anything and get my hands in there. But let's see if I can hold on to it with a pair of needle nose pliers while I'm trying to pry it off. You can see this one's going to be a problem to get back on. Got it. Like I said, We'll see what a battle it is to get it back on. Figure out the right size for this. The gasket there for the air cleaner. It's loose on this side, not that side. Looks like it does slide right over the nuts. But don't worry about that. Let's figure out what we need here. And let's see. Husqvarna partner made in Sweden. Are they metric? There's 8mm. Not 8. 9mm. 8mm. Looks like it. Metric. Oh, it's a stud that goes all the way through. There's that one. The choke on to get that out of my way. Get that butterfly out of my way. And again, I pulled this off and gas shot out, so maybe if I crack, it was pumping, so it tells me the diaphragm is working. Crack that open. There we go. Get the linkage out. Choke in front. Fuel in back. Carburetor out. Let's see if we can get this gasket off. Like it's already got a few issues. Sure would like to save it. Got it. There's that. See if we can tell what this is. Made in Ireland. Marvel Schebler Tillotson. Tillotson carburetor. We get a screwdriver in there. One. This screw right here looks new. I get my big giant hands in there. There. I've got to break it free. Without stabbing myself. There's a diaphragm. I don't think there's a hope in hell of getting that off of there without destroying it. But it seems like it was pumping because it was sucking fuel out of the tank. So get a paper towel because I don't want to flip that over directly on the dirty. I'll flip it over directly on the dirty workbench. Let's see what we can do with this side. Right there. I do not have a carb rebuild kit for this. And I figured I would probably need to order one, but I have some time on my hands now, so I thought let's tear into it. There again, I know that we have a hope in hell of getting that off of there without destroying it. But let's see what we can do. If we destroy it, we destroy it. It was going so good there for a while. Working our way loose in halfway decent shape. There. Send that there. Not horrible looking inside. Not horrible looking at all. So we got the metallic tab there with the circles goes inside. Let's go ahead and take the needle and seat out. Spring, I'm sure there's a spring in there. Holy cow. Maybe, maybe not. Wow. She doesn't want to budge. Oh, this one will be any better or not. And yes, it will. Screw. Keep these parts where I know where they are, because I'm sure they're super easy to lose. Needle doesn't look bad at all. Rubber tip feels good. All right, what do you think the chances are of getting this off? Starting to work with me here, starting to cooperate, but it doesn't take much to screw it all up. Coming. Got it. Set this over here. It goes in just like that. We're going to try and clean out all the passages. Let's give it a few cycles in the ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, it works better if I set it and then turn it on. And we're still cooking. Less than a minute of cook left. But I'll tell you what, this is just a cheap Harbor Freight ultrasonic cleaner. But if you're going to be working on things like this, an ultrasonic cleaner is awesome. I do have plans to get a bigger and better one, but you know what? This one has actually served me well. I also use it when I reload. I put my casings in there to clean them, and they'll come out shiny like brand new every time. There we are. Dinner's done. So it's going to be warm. Not too bad. For a cheap ultrasonic cleaner, it does a hell of a job. I'll take it. Let's see if we can get everything in the video here and reassemble it. Tiny, tiny parts. I'm going to get my fat fingers to do what I need them to do. Where's my spring? About had a panic attack. Couldn't find the spring. It was stuck to the magnet on there. Now let's try that again. And these little parts are hard to deal with big giant bear claws. Well, hell. It's in. Like it's working. So we can get this back together. We know that was down. We have a locating pin right here. I'm a little concerned that this is torn right here. That might screw us. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it will. Back together, locating pin. Locating pin. 3. 4. Let's snug them up. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be ordering a rebuild kit for this, but I thought I would just give it a go without it and see if just giving her a good cleaning did anything. Caring about apart carburetors to clean them or rebuild them is not really my thing, but it can be done. I guess just learn to jump in and learn how to do it. And I'm going to guess that if it won't run, it's because that diaphragm has that little corner that's missing a piece. I could probably order a new carburetor cheaper than I can order a rebuild kit, but I don't want to put a Chinese carburetor on it. There she is, back together. Okay, I have it all cleaned, put back together, and I'm probably not going to finish this video tonight because it's getting late. I need to get back in the house. We have our granddaughter here. Auto linkage in. It was in, it fell out. Auto linkage in. I guess I didn't pay attention on that choke because there's 2 different holes. I think it was that one. And I think it'd be easier to put those little tabs on here rather than trying to fight with them. Auto is on. Auto tab is on. Choke tab is on. And let's get these in there. Pretty difficult to get this far into something and then put it away and wait until tomorrow to see if it runs. So we'll see if I hold true to my word or not. These screw into a plastic housing, so we don't want to over tighten them. Okay. I think I have the choke in the wrong space. When I'm testing it out, it doesn't close all the way. So good thing I tried it first. Well, now I get to pry that off again. Try not to destroy it. All right. And there. Move this. Get this back on. About impossible. Matter of fact, it is impossible to do this and show you what I'm doing. Get your really, at least with the equipment I have, to get you a really good camera view, camera shot. The little lever for the choke has 2 holes in it. I don't know why it doesn't just have one. That's better. You can see choke is open, choke is closed. Got her right that time. Close that choke, get it out of my way. This snug so we don't have an air leak, but remember we're threading it into plastic. Feel. This came apart. I'm going to have to come up with another plan for that, but we're not going to be out in the woods cutting with it until I get it fixed properly. Is that? Looks like it's on there pretty good. Are we ready? Well, that diaphragm is screwing us. All right, here we are, Sunday morning, the next day. I was out here like 10:30 last night messing with that saw. And as you can see, she's still not running. I knew that when I took that razor blade and took that diaphragm off, it looked good. And as I was cutting it loose, a piece of it stuck to the body of the carburetor. It was just enough to mess us up. And it is what it is. But never fear. A new complete carb rebuild kit will be here tomorrow. And I'll jump back on it. I don't know when I'll post the video of it, but I'll get this thing running, and it won't be long. It'll be out tearing up some firewood. So thanks for watching. Until my next one, I appreciate each and every one of you.